Zangpo.
Kamrimo.
Chajalo.
Namaste.
Hello, and welcome to the Sikkim podcast brought to you by Summit Times. In today's episode, we'll discuss OFOJ, the one-time grant that the CM has asked from the center, and the Children's Literature Festival Bookaroo. Today we have with us and I'm Chiring Eden. So to begin with, let's start with the latest update on the OFOJ scheme, the One Family One Job scheme, where the government has revoked the, what do you call
cancellation.
Revoked the cancellation. So they had cancelled the appointments, withheld and cancelled, the appointments of OFOJ candidates who had joined duty during the Model Code of Conduct.
Yes. That is the second list everyone keeps saying.
Yeah. And then recently they said no, they can all again join work. But provided or pending
the investigation or whatever.
Investigation and
I don't think that's the word they use.
Inquiry.
Yeah. Verification or whatever.
Verification.
Scrutiny.
Verification and scrutiny of the appointments, I guess. And we were discussing how ambiguous that is. We don't know what that means. Like verification के बाद में अगर ठीक नहीं है तो फिर cancel कर देंगे.
Which would be the case. That's probably what they mean.
And moreover, like this OFOJ like candidates, when they had a discussion also, they also told, okay, we welcome this. At least instead of like throwing us out, at least have us in the thing, scrutinize. If we find something China then
remove.
Yeah, we are no.
Yeah, so that being the point, it is still ambiguous for me because one would expect, given how careful bureaucrats are, except maybe those in Sikkim, how they want to spell everything out, it is not clear. These people were out of their jobs for a week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, when it was appointment was cancelled, and then it was said, okay, you can rejoin work. What happens to that period that they were technically fired from their jobs? Will they get paid for that? I mean, apart from the fact that they've not been paid for the previous work as well, even that is so unclear. Everyone is being so casual about it. We don't know the numbers.
No, it's really bad. Even the OFOJ candidate one that I know was saying, I mean, how is it, like, why is it that every department has their own way of releasing the salaries? कोई एक department ने already release कर दिया है, other department ने it's still like in the loop, in the process बोल रहे हैं, like.
There can be no excuse for that. I think the moment you hire someone, there can be no excuse that person doesn't get paid at the end of the month. There is absolutely no excuse. You cannot blame it on the previous government, you cannot blame it on the new government. It's a departmental failure. You have to blame it on the head of the department.
Yeah.
How can you have people on your staff and not pay them for 2-3 months? It's inexcusable. And these are people who need it the most, right?
No, otherwise you have
If it was the secretary or the engineer who was not getting paid for 2 or 3 months, I don't think they'll mind. The person who needs this money the most is the one who's not being paid or even being told.
No, my problem is otherwise if you don't have the money, you announce it or whatever, give it in written, as they say, कि नहीं है पैसा ना, वो भी नहीं बोलते हैं, and they're like नहीं यहाँ पे फंसा हुआ है, वहाँ पे, it is typical
government के पास कैसे पैसा नहीं होता है.
But that's what they tell them, or I'm sure that's what they say. But it only confirms my doubts that त्यो famous छ नि क्या यो के भन्छ पैसा चाहिँ यिनीहरूले ब्याङ्कमा हालेर इन्ट्रेस्ट खान्छ भनेर क्या. I only, that's the only
excuse, right? So एक quarter के लिए delay करो for 3-4 months, take the interest.
My calculation on all this thing might be maybe जैसे करके till that by poll या by election तक इनको रखो, उसमें checking, scrutinize or whatever the process whatever, but at least in ये topic
let it not become an issue.
issue. I mean मेरा projection of my thinking is
It's a political.
Yeah,
What
it's a
chota ho
political.
yaar aap? You would have done the same thing, I'm sure.
I'm looking at the political point of view. I mean, भित्र चाहिँ like.
So after the by-elections and if SKM...
I mean, it's quite obviously
then-
that. I mean, I think the government also realized the political fallout of these firings will be huge and they can't risk it in the
Yeah.
by
Because what it told right now is like कहाँ पे पैसा दे रहा है, कहाँ पे process हो रहा है, कहाँ पे तो I don't know what's the story है ना. So, but department themselves are confused नहीं.
But that is my point, right? I mean, we're talking about the political implications of it, right? But this point that you mentioned, that Chering mentioned about some departments have paid their salaries, some have not. That is not a political or a government level failure or intentional or oversight. It is a departmental failure, no? Some departments are just doing their job and some departments just don't care. It's as simple as that. From what we know, till March, the budget had been provided.
Yeah.
Budget provision was there. Since then, it is April, May, and now June, right? People have not been paid till March either, some of the people.
Yes.
Some of them joined after that. Provisional budget would also have been passed by now. Like, there is absolutely no excuse. I mean, what can the department say? Like, why are they not being able to pay these people?
No, because if they don't have the money, they should then approach the CM or whatever and tell them ki nahi hoga, you have to chuck these people out, right? I mean, at least then these people will be off the hook and they can think of doing something else, no? Instead of working like without pay, it's like bonded labor.
It is bonded labor. It's slavery. It's slavery. And it's not even as if they're being paid huge amounts, right? Like minimum
Maximum
wage
is
types.
12,000, no? Ki 10,000.
Yeah. 12,000.
Yeah. And to think that you're not being able to handle this OFOJ ka load. The present government had promised
Oh yes.
employment for every unemployed person,
Every
isn't
unemployed, within 100 days of coming to power.
it? Coming to power and unemployment wages or what is it called? Bhata,
तो
बेरोजगारी
कितना दिन
भत्ता.
हो गया अब?
नहीं 100 दिन तो नहीं हुआ.
Unemployment allowance of 10,000 rupees.
10,000 rupees. Why will I want a job if I'm getting
10,000
10,000 rupees to just stay at home?
I know, no, 10,000 ta.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, one family.
How come we don't know this?
Say one family, and one family got 1,000, then they say then the ratio
Okay.
itself doesn't work. Same mera family, I have like 5 family, mom, dad. So 5 family में 10,000.
No, but in this, it's not the family that is being counted.
Every
In this
unemployed
scheme,
youth.
unemployment,
Then
which
might be
also brings. I'm again hogging the whole thing. But which also brings me the point that there's so much noise about OFOJ. One family said 2 बंदों को नौकरी मिल गया, right? Yeah, I have a problem saying OFOJ. I know. Like it's just.
No, I thought no, not because of that. I was thinking you were going to say one family में 2 job मिल गए वाला.
Oh, okay.
Joke.
Oh, okay. Let's not get there. Let's not get there because that's a terrain we neither of us can really handle yet. But anyways, Uttam is clueless about what we're talking about.
बोल देती हूँ मैं.
Anyways, no. So no, what I'm saying is, so much complaint is being made about under the OFOJ scheme. 2 people from the same family have got a job, or someone from who has a government servant in the family has got a job. That noise is being made, right? Which flies in the face of your original commitment, which said that every unemployed will be given a job. So if there were 10 unemployed boys in a house, all 10 of them have to be given a job.
Yeah.
Is your commitment, right? So how can you make such a big noise about 2 people or someone with already a father or mother in government service also getting an OFOJ employment, right? So that's
No, and then no.
just
100 days बोला है. कितना हो गया? Almost a month now.
okay.
So another
Yeah.
60 days left. Up to they should come out, no?
With the policy,
How will they do
or the
it?
list should be
हाँ,
prepared
list
by
should
now.
be prepared. What
Yeah.
it's going
Do you
to
think
take some
Sikkim
time.
has a reliable unemployed register?
No.
Like ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं.
नहीं है.
नहीं है तो कैसे होगा? Like I am officially unemployed. Because
And
that's how they
unofficially-
like people who don't have a government job are all unemployed,
Yeah,
no?
that's how. Which is the crazy thing.
Even like in prior to like applying in any of the government office, means state government, might be a central government also. Any of the government office, you have to have employment card, right? ना? So employment card में क्या होता है कि जिसके पास डॉक्यूमेंट से देन वहाँ पे ऊपर दैट मैंने नोटिस ही नहीं किया था ना वहाँ पे NLA
हाँ वो तो पुराना that's 97 vintage है.
So what I mean to say is like
what MLA?
Local non-local.
no, वहाँ पे स्लाइड नहीं थे उसमें था कि so इसमें can government come out with any figure saying yes and forget about state का central departments में कितना local सा कितना वो record ही नहीं then forget about unemployment कितना I mean
Yeah.
as a whole
Yeah, I don't know even know.
Even
what
banks
but
also.
anyway.
Yeah. नहीं, हाँ, local. They are non-local workers also. You are saying employed.
Yeah, why
Center
not?
का.
Yeah, of course.
Even in banks you look at the banks
हाँ.
I mean,
No, no, but that takes us
what
into
I'm
this
saying,
whole
I'm talking
discussion
about the
about.
record, I'm talking about the records that you wanted to do.
That takes us into this whole discussion about the employment exchange fiasco that had happened
Yeah.
many years back, right? So when the employment exchange was to be extended to Sikkim by the SDF government, they had proposing their first term. The idea was what convinced them to bring the Employment Exchange Act to Sikkim was that all grade 4 jobs will automatically go to locals, and all vacancies in central undertakings, central government and banks and things like that will have to be advertised locally, so that locals can apply for them. Grade 4 though automatically will go to locals. Now that was protested on the point that you mentioned, that in the Sikkim Employment Register, when you get an employment or unemployed card, whatever it's called, it's written L and NL. So if you're local, L, if you're non-local, NL. Whereas the central government employment exchange has no such.
Yeah.
If you're a resident, you get registered and things like that. So they were saying, oh, like local protection will go away, and there was like the government almost toppled.
A few years back इसी का वो हुआ था ना
Yeah, this was the issue in '97, I think it was. So it's.
Okay.
But yeah, let's just hope that there is, now that they have time to think these things over, they can come up with something more resolute for
So the question,
OFOJ.
what like your family, one guy has to get, not 2% from the same family get. तो ये सब record कहाँ गया है? Like can't they go to this department and see कि like in a family, at least they have this record like that, because
Yeah,
prior
yeah.
to applying
At least इतना तो they can do
जा
that.
सकता था ना. I'm
इतना
like,
who has
it's
a
not
government
like
job?
saying, are you like from same father, same house, or I know दुईजना
but-
भाइ.
No, but it's like,
This
it
is
is
like
very messy and complicated. What if I'm from a
Broken family.
from a broken family, right? My father doesn't live with me, but he has a government job, right? Does that mean that I get disqualified from this OFOJ scheme?
so many technical.
वो सब तो सोचा ही नहीं ना. It was just a election handout.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that
we'll
is
move
what
on to the next topic, which is the rupees 4,000 crore
Crore.
one-time grant that Chief Minister P.S. Thamang asked for at the center.
Hmm.
So I wanted to ask you, like, whether this is like a usual thing, right?
Yeah, the previous government had been demanding this one-time grant for such a long time also.
Mm.
Peace grant or whatever they want to call it, yeah. That is there. I think the argument that was used this time was that the state's finances are in such a bad condition, such a bad way, that it needs this one-time injection to normalize, and then we can start doing something about it. Although it was not very clear, maybe in their submissions to the planning, Niti Aayog or whatever, they have given details of what they'll do with this 4,000 crores. It's so easy, no, now to roll off like 4,000 crores, Manglo, like.
But at the same time, what they did also, like state was under a deficit of 8,000.
Huh.
No, that's the loan component.
No,
like the
what I mean
state has
is,
debt
I mean,
burden.
that might be what do you call a focus point of saying why state is like really in need of 4,000 crores right now. I mean, the emergency, the amount 4,000 crores. I think that was the what do you call the so-called point of saying कि हाम्रो स्टेटमा यति साह्रो डेफिसिट भयो यति साह्रो वर्क बट वी कान्ट इभन द एरियाज जो देनवाला था द्याट वाज अल्सो लाइक प्री पोलको यिनीहरूको एउटा थियो होइन गभर्मेन्ट when a government comes then I'm local.
One time areas settled.
They one time previous years जिता भी like from 2016 was supposed to give होइन अहिलेसम्म 1 पैसा पनि गएको छैन.
Oh, pay revision.
Pay
After the
revision,
pay
yeah, I'm
revision.
talking about the pay revision. वो भी तो नहीं था. So that was also a component included in that 4,000. Why 4,000?
Okay.
Mm.
The liabilities, the existing
Yeah,
liabilities
I
that
mean,
have been committed.
one of the components for because major chunk of जति फन्ड आउँछ is salaries pay out to सिक्किममा or the
majorly salaries and maintenance.
हो
Just to keep the government running. Imagine.
Yeah. Government
Just to
doesn't
keep-
even run.
No, yeah, that is true. But just to keep the office open,
Doesn't even walk.
just to keep the office open,
Yeah.
which also doesn't always remain open. If you want to continue your line of argument, is what you spend most of your money on.
Yeah.
You don't spend it on building facilities, building infrastructure. That gets sidelined completely, which is unfortunate. So 4,000 crores, I got damn good. There'll be a lot of money to play with, but that's not a new demand. But that's not a new demand. It's been like asked for. Every government has been. The previous government has been asking for it every time. One time. I mean, मांगने में क्या है? मिल गया तो
मिलेगा?
दिवाली. 4,000 crores is nothing for Delhi to give actually, no? Like
So
compared
why would like just because एक नया गवर्नमेंट आ गया, why would like नीति आयोग से कि ले जाओ?
नीति आयोग तो जो चाहिए वो भी नहीं देता है.
नहीं
So
why
I
would
don't
like
think
why
it's
would
going to come.
government at the center say okay चलो दे दो? Why?
Yeah. Why exactly? That's why you have to build your arguments on what you're going to do with this 4,000 crores. I hope they've done that effectively enough. But it is pretty obvious that the money in the government departments by way of payments and all has been very slow for a while now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Payments that they need to make to people and all of that has been suffering for quite a long time now. And
Because-
you got to blame Delhi for it, no? Because Sikkim doesn't generate its own finances. It depends upon central funds.
हालत भी बहुत बुरा है ना, like no payments, nothing, कुछ भी तो नहीं है.
Yeah, so many projects are just stalled.
I mean, last 2-3 days I was working with all these guys, and when I went, like when we made this HRDDA, which is like very vast department, when he was talking regarding this teachers training program, even 100 rupees for the department, I mean per teacher, and they were like from the senior secondary level, they were what, like 190 to 200 teachers. And for one teacher to come all the way from there, minimum they calculate, even though उनका टीचर का अपने रिश्तेदार घर में, not government provide them accommodation, अपने घर में बैठने से to attend that program for a single day would cost government per person 2 and 4 खानु यता गर्दाखेरि 1,000, that's a minimum.
Yeah.
उतना पैसा भी तो नहीं था, government couldn't afford that much also.
Yeah.
So,
But that's projection failure, no? That's where planning has to come in. You project these, you get the budget for it. Anyways, but not as
so this 4,000 is more or less like up वैसे मांग लिया, or it's a I mean that's
I'm sure they've got a kind of in their details submitted to the Niti Aayog, they would have given details of what they're going to do with this 4,000 crores. I'm sure the salary raise is one part of it, and there must be so many others. To give continuity, that's one favorite term, no? To give continuity to existing
What
programs.
if this 4,000 crores अभी कितना हुआ, 1 महीना हो गया when they formed
Yeah.
government. So what if like this 4,000 करते I mean supposing that the installment को हिसाब में दिए हुए नहीं, like 6 month when that things come on, will this 4,000 crores जो जितना भी डिमांड किया will be with the same government, or supposing if election में कुछ हो गया again नया demand
No, if once it is cleared for Sikkim, it's cleared for the state. No, it's not cleared for a government or a party. That's how it works. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens of. Then I look forward to the next budget that the state will present. It'll be interesting. It'll be a new government. You'll get their focus areas. You'll probably hear talk about what they're going to do with that 4,000 crores. So whenever the government
this will
presents,
be more or less like grants, है ना?
it's a grant, yeah, one-time
So
grant.
like there won't be
It's
any
not part of your
accountability.
budget. I mean, that's not how it's demanded. Delhi is very famous for doing that. They'll give you
But that
like disaster,
Yeah, वो तो depends on
emergency
which-
aid, and then they'll cut it from your disaster.
yeah, I mean that
management
depends
budget.
on which state आपका favorable है कि नहीं. Like say for example Assam BJP government है, then they'll say okay take this much.
Yeah,
Sikkim.
yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. So let's see how it works out. It'll be interesting to see the next budget presentation. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, moving on, we thought we'll also talk about the Children's Literature Festival Bookaroo that is coming to Gangtok for the first time. It's going to be held on 28th June and 29th June at Takchi International School, that's
Up at Pangthang.
up at Pangthang. And
From when to when? 9.
the first day, no, on 28th June, it's from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is for schools, I think, only for schools. So it's called Schools Day. And on 29th, it's open to all. It's from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And they've said in their website that there'll be 20 plus speakers, and there'll be around 59 sessions. So they'll have workshops, storytelling, drama, art and craft, and it's for children aged between 4 to 14 years. And the speakers are basically authors and illustrators.
It's quite exciting.
Yeah.
Quite exciting.
So, and Bookaroo is a public charitable trust, and it's been traveling based
Delhi,
in
probably.
Delhi, no.
Because the Bookaroo happens in Delhi every year.
I don't see that information here. I don't know. So, they've already traveled to 12 cities and also won the Literary Festival Award at the London Book Fair's International Excellence Awards in 2017. And you have, I think, only one Gangtok author or two from Gangtok, from Sikkim.
Children's literature?
Children's
I
literature.
mean, I'm sure there's at least 2-3 that have been published by
Yeah.
some national publishers.
Yeah.
From Taxi only, I think.
Oh,
that I
one
know
is,
of.
yeah,
Two
okay.
of
And
them.
I know, that guy, I don't know where he's. Anyway, so,
No, I'm quite excited about this Bookaroo thing because I know that every year Taxi takes its, I think, grade 7 or grade 8 students to when the festival happens in Delhi, and the kids come back with they come back very excited from the exposure to the workshops. They pick up new things.
This is first time this happening.
Yeah, it's children's. It's focused children's literature. So it's
So
like
it's like open to all the children or just school
All.
no,
students?
all.
all
So, first day चाहिँ schools को लागि मात्रै भनेर लेखेको छ हो 28th,
which is
चाहिँ.
Friday.
On 29th चाहिँ anyone can go, any child, any adult.
So like this festival people, why like they focus especially चाहिँ Gant,
No,
Sikkim and
yeah. So,
No, I think Taxi has an old association with the organizer because they send students every year, no? So I think they know the organizers or whatever, and they must have come up with the idea that since it's traveled already to 12 cities, I think they must have come up with an idea. Let's try it in Gangtok as well. So that's why they bring it. I mean, it's a wonderful job they're doing. I
Yeah.
think it's so exciting. I mean, can you imagine? This is something that we've not had a proper book festival in book fair.
Forget about children.
We've not had a proper book fair in Gangtok since forever. We had only those sarkari kind of things that are so boring. Like half the stalls are selling guidebooks or Padani Sahitya Academy publications and things like that, right? So to have one which is actually like a literary event where you'll have writers, illustrators, workshops. I'm sure they have drama and theatre and like it's a mela, right? It's a fair that celebrates reading. I think that's so wonderful to have. I hope all the kids of Sikkim are taken to that,
I know.
and it becomes so big that they say, "Okay, we want to do this every 6 months." No, I hope it does well. I hope the book sales are good. I hope the footfalls are good, which I don't know. No?
Hopefully, they've mentioned last time in this press release the schools that they had listed some schools that will be participating.
Yeah.
Around Gangtok, I guess.
And also, I hope that it's not just what we call the elitist schools, right? Rich kids, not rich, I call them rich kids,
Yeah.
but kids with access who can buy a book online or who can go to a bookshop and already buy books. Of course, they should also be there for the whole experience of it. Excuse me. But more than that, I hope it's government school students
Yeah, I know.
who are sent there, and I hope the government gives them a pocket money budget to buy books. Otherwise, what's the point of just the whole experience will be something, right? I hope, and this is where you miss good corporate social responsibility engagements, right? There should have been some corporate houses which said,
Sponsored.
I'll sponsor one government school's attendance. Okay, here, you take my bus, collect kids from MG Marg who are just wasting away there, take them up. Or here is my budget. I give the school 10,000 rupees.
Sikkim is like stakeholder from Sikkim itself. Like, I have a transport facility.
No, I'm talking more than that.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
just taking kids.
Oh,
I'm talking about giving kids, okay, ye lo tum, like I've got 20
Yeah.
kids from the school going, there's a 500 rupee per kid. Budget, go buy books.
Yeah.
I like,
That's
it's so
really
easy to
great.
do, no? It was so nice and wonderful
For
to
the 500 might go to an ice cream parlor.
हाँ do that अब क्या कर सकते हैं I mean like, no which I hope they should not come up with this. I mean it's not as if this is going to happen, but I hope they don't come up with a rule saying, okay, you have to show me a receipt of the book or write me a review of the book. I mean, you give the kid that and then you trust the kid
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the kid will go there, get excited and end up spending not just 500 but 700. I think if the organizers offered, let's say, 20% discount or 30% discount, their sales will actually, I'm sure book fairs में तो होता ही है ना,
Yeah.
discounts.
It's very nice.
I
And
hope.
you don't know when it's going to come again, no?
Yeah.
After this.
Yeah. I hope grown-ups also go to see like how a LitFest is done.
Wait, how a LitFest is done, and I mean children's literature. We were talking about how local children's literature, the absence of local.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Now when you don't even have grandmothers in the same house telling you stories, do you realize that our kids are growing up with just, I don't have problems with it, but our kids are just growing up with Chota Bheem,
हाँ.
which is wonderful and entertaining and all that, but
PUBG भी आ गया.
हाँ
PUBG.
और PUBG
PUBG.
भी आ गया छोटे बच्चों के लिए. Yeah, I mean like
Yeah.
no, but I think that I hope they have a session on that, a serious conversation. I think now is the time when Sikkim and its Sahityakars can have a serious discussion about the complete absence of children's literature in the vernacular, or even in English, but on local themes, non-existent, which is, I think, so unfortunate.
Yeah,
no?
we grew up reading Archies and Patani and It Blight and all these things.
Yeah, I know, and look at how lost their generation is.
Cultural तो क्या अब उनीहरूको अब we know about hot dog कस्तो हुन्छ अब there is no I mean it's
Hot dog means the guy के अरे त्यो आर्चिज का तो एउटा छ नि.
Jagher.
no as in it's good that we got to know about all these things, but then we don't really relate to a lot of the stuff that
No,
is
And what
so,
people don't realize is, all these writers and Sahityakars don't realize is that if you invest in children's literature, you're investing in your own futures, not in that big hyperbolic thing about bacche achhe honge and all that, but purely in the sense that if you have a good children's literature and kids are reading it, they'll grow up reading, and when they grow up, they'll read your work also. Otherwise, now you're expecting straight away like these 10 geeks in college who want to study the language that you write in, will read it and will think that you are God, but you don't reach out to the masses, right? There is a complete absence of mass, hugely popular books even for grown-ups, no?
yeah वही तो grown-ups के लिए नहीं है
One guy writes, two of his friends read, वाह वाह होता है, 2-3 awards छापते हैं, and that's it. But you want an audience, no? And you have to build that audience from children's literature. That's complete absence of children's literature in the vernacular or in English about local themes and places, I think is such a big loss. And I
I
hope
know
that
why.
events like
Supposing if this festival is so beneficial and it's like important, why wait for this kind of festival instead of like getting all this
Yeah, you
civil
can
society? You know, I mean that.
civil society.
No,
First, get me the civil society.
No,
Then I'll give you the
person
book festival
like,
in Sikkim.
and त्यो mass English त्यो
छैन
नहीं है.
वही तो
इसलिए तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ that comics that we read in our time, even Indrazal or whatever, अमर चित्रकला,
Indrazal comics, there's Phantom and all that.
Phantom and
वो
all.
यो क्या था वो
Flash Gordon.
नहीं
Bahadur.
नहीं Mandrake
Mandrake.
ना
The
अभी जो
Magician.
Marvel जो Avengers का जो series and the Marvel we read
DC Comics.
DC Comics and this thing, now अभी the picture ही आ रहा है ना अभी,
वही तो.
so that we at least have that's के भन्छ that त्यो एउटा DC comic में कौन था character बस Batman
सब थे.
हाँ वो था.
Oh, DC is Batman and all those
Batman,
things.
yeah. I mean we
Marvel
had
is
this Captain America the थिएन and त्यो टाइममा अभी का बच्चे
वो
लोग
Marvel में.
the Hulk, Iron Man, Hulk, the famous character for a small kid.
Yeah.
And उनका ड्रेस वाटर बोतल में सबै त्यही नै
वही
हुन्छ
तो.
नि त हैन.
हाम्रो पनि त कतिवटा छ नाङ्ले भूत
है तो रांगे भूत.
राङ्गे भूत यस्तो
लैम लैमे.
अभी
बना सकते
लैम
एटलीस्ट
लैमे.
वो भी तो था हम I mean वो दूरदर्शन में वो सीरियल भी था ना क्या वो रामा तेनालीरामा
तेनालीरामा।
रामा
That-
oh yeah
what
yeah
this-
अमर चित्र कथा में आता था
हाँ वो
Yeah.
भी तो काफी
Hmm.
इंटरेस्टिंग था आई यूज्ड टू लाइक
Tales of Birbal
ट्विंकल कॉमिक
Vikram Betal and all that.
Jataka Tales all
Jataka
that
Tales.
all of
But
that.
the Twinkle comic, the base of that Twinkle comic,
Tinkle.
Tinkle.
Twinkle.
Tinkle.
The base was all the school. I mean, the stories, short stories जति आउँथ्यो सबै स्कुलबाट त आउँथ्यो हैन
You forgot Champak Chanda Mama
चम्पक चाहिँ बुझाएँ पता
चन्दा मामा नहीं पता?
पिंकी चाचा चौधरी याद छ न
चाचा चौधरी चाहिँ स्कुल किड्सले गर्थ्यो
और कौन बोले grown ups पढ़ते थे क्या
नहीं I'm talking about the story जो
ए contributions okay yeah Tinkle had a lot of that no, you would send
School,
it
like
Supandi
Song
Upandi का
Bank,
stories
maybe-
you would send.
like you went
छपा है ना आपका
नहीं आई
we went weekend out then you share your experience वो क्या उसका त्यो
Uncle Pai.
शिकारी
वो शिकारी शंभू
सबको आगे हुआ था ना
हाँ।
like experience or drawing maybe
हाँ ड्राइङ हो गयो
so the contribution त्यो उसमा सबै स्कुल किडले दिन्छ त आजकल त छैन
yeah we've completely forgotten about the kids given them a smartphone and a television remote and
but हम लोग का weekend cricket time में was at least we had this student का involvement yeah that comical
उस वक्त तो the online thing had not really
yeah
or maybe
Come
one
this
of the
week.
culprit might be the online
online
too,
ना
right?
अभी तो सब online है
we cannot blame anything for it only the medium has changed no medium is new but it's not as if kids are watching I don't know I'm like old school I
yeah
want the kids
anyways
to
we
read.
have to cut it short we've
So please do visit
the Bookaroo festival
and buy books
at Takchi
and sponsor if you can afford it. Sponsor two kids.
sponsor 2-3 kids schools the 28th and 29th June at Takchi International School and you can check out more information on their website bookaroo.in I think yes and keep listening to the Sikkim podcast
Yeah, this is Pema Wangchuk.
उत्तम गुरुङ
checking in saying
Bye-bye.
bye.